Map Veto, where are we gonna play? Let's go ahead and just find out right now. Autobans are gonna be Clubhouse and Consulate, and we'll just tally them off.
Should be interesting.
The one thing that really stands out to me is exactly what you said. Bringing a German player onto the roster, unless he speaks Swedish, it's going to be really weird for Chaos. So they're going to have to change a lot of things. Luckily, I'm pretty sure that they all speak pretty fluent English, or at least as like a baseline to try and communicate.
And I
wonder what that's going to be like.
I think some players, it can mess with your mentality to have to speak a different language that doesn't come away as quick, but other players, it doesn't matter as much.
So where are we going to be? We've got Coastline in here, and we've got... Well, Cafe gone now.
Well, that was the last ban. All right. Well, Coastline should be an interesting one because these two teams have very different track records on it.
No, correct me if I'm wrong, but both of these teams are actually pretty decent at Coastline, right?
Yeah, it's just if you look at the score lines from this this season, it doesn't look great for them. Chaos very unfavorable, and that's to be expected given what we know about the two teams so far and what we've seen from them. But at the same time, maybe the wild card of the other player will be the factor they need. But it is interesting that Empire played this map twice during the season, drew both times. Chaos won both times with a 7-4 and a 7-1.
So
7-4 against G2 of all people too. So technically, if you just look at score lines throughout the season, you'd be like, oh, well, Chaos, the obvious much better team at this map because they 7-4 G2 and Empire only drew them on it. Things like that, but I don't really think that's the case here. I think this... I could even see if Chaos plays well on this map as they usually do this, going to another draw for Empire.
Well, I guess we'll find out when the results actually come in. But to begin things, it'll be the ban phase starting off with Chaos. And they'll get rid of Jackal. Some really rapid-fire bans here, as Empire are already going to lock theirs in. It's going to be Capital. So nothing crazy.
No, they're just target banning Joystick on that Jackal.
I mean, you can't... See, we've been through this, though. You can't target ban Joystick, because if you ban his Jackal, he's going to pick his Nomad.
Absolutely.
So that's what's probably going to be happening here.
But then you kind of know.
He can even go back to, like, Ash. I mean, it really, whatever he wants.
I'm actually surprised he hasn't done that sometimes. Or he played a pretty decent IQ as well.
He's got options. As we've seen, whenever you try to put him in the corner, he finds a different route, but we'll see if that actually works for him today.
I think Nomad would be a good choice, though, as a filler, because the Chaos likes to roam pretty heavy.
And the defensive bans are as the defensive bans have been. And we'll move on from that. Nothing to talk about there. Now, I'll be loading in here finally with the ban phase done. And again, Empire's starting to attack. Chaos, where are you going to bring us? Probably going to be Hookah. That has been the staple site for most teams these days.
There it is.
Chaos, with their one, well, I guess with next one in there, are going to go into Hookah Billiards.
Well, you called it on Joystick. Playing that Nomad instead, and they're going to bring the Dokkaebi along with that as well.
Wonder if he's going to bring the AK or the ARX. I actually did some testing on both of them recently. I mean, the ARX is a well-known laser beam, and it's pretty good, but we've actually known why Joystick likes to bring the AK from time to time. It's because of ammo, right? It's really, he said it depends on what he's trying to do, right?
Yeah.
If with the ARX, you are going to be more lethal. It's easier to work with, but you got 21 rounds in the magazine, if I'm not mistaken.
He likes to do a lot of pre-firing, so I can understand.
And then with the AK, you got 41 rounds.
That's double.
That's that's pretty hefty. So a lot you can be done with the AK. And I actually did some testing recently, and I realized that there are some very specific things that you can do to master its recoil. And a lot of people don't use it because it's kind of unwieldy.
Yeah.
But like, for example, if you stick a muzzle brake on there and you just do a burst of like 5 to 7 bullets, and you pull just a little bit down to the left, then all that like randomness is effectively eliminated.
We'll see if Joystick knows that.
Oh no, I'm sure he's done even more extensive testing than me. But it's definitely an interesting thing, is that you can master that AK. You can. It just takes a little bit of time.
It's like the C8 was pretty hard to deal with for a lot of people for a while until they all kind of...
Well, I don't think the C8's all that complicated. You pull down.
Yeah.
To be fair, like I think it even pales in comparison to some extent. The weird thing about the AK is since it's so floaty, low rate of fire. Anyway, we're getting into some really nuanced stuff. So we're just gonna move on. Karzeka pushing his way into blue bar, sees a target and doesn't land enough shots. He does actually. Correction, but it's a trade. So an even exchange here early on between these teams.
I mean, I guess we see why Joystick doesn't go back to the Ash, because Dan's been doing it, now that I think about it. So.
Oh, look at that, yeah.
So they are going to have that aggressiveness. Dan's been a very strong entry fragger, but he typically enters from this kitchen almost every single time. So that's going to be predicted, but Shepard the one to actually fall instead. So that is the Zofia loss there. It's interesting that Scyther's taking up the Dokkaebi, because that was usually Shepard's job as well. So changed it up a little bit, but not too much. So far, though, not working out stellar this round, as they've lost 2.
Yeah, it actually has forced Empire into a retake sort of situation where they've gotten the ground that they want here, but they actually have to regain that lead. So it's going to be rough for them, given that they're down to 3. 3 makes it really hard to have any kind of multi-layered push. Usually with 3, you consolidate to one specific push. Yeah, I don't think he expected that C4 to land with the way he tossed it.
No.
But, or maybe he just messed up or something along those lines.
I think he backed up right at the same time and threw it a little short.
Could also be that he was just using it to try and get away, which is what he used it for, whether or not it was his intention.
Yeah.
Scyther's going to eat some damage on the doorway there and will be forced to fall back, 75 HP. As Vito takes down Dan, though, all of a sudden, Chaos are looking in a really hard to lose sort of situation.
Definitely seeming like Empire are not warmed up for these gunfights yet.
That is really what it's coming down to. Right now, we've seen a lot of just straight one gunfights from Chaos. Oh, bad angle play there from Joystick. Next one finds himself in the ACOG's lack of peripheral vision and dies. So, Scyther trying to come up to Aqua Balcony. He's got 30 seconds. Dokeby's not a great operator to do this with, and he'll be taken out by Next One, who has a great debut round with Chaos.
Always want to try and get 1 kill in there if it's your first Pro League game, right? To make sure that you don't look like a dead weight on your team.
Well, I'll straight up tell you that the pressure of being a player in this situation, you know, I've talked to people who've done it before, it really is substantial.
Oh, I can imagine, yeah.
Yeah, and just getting 1 kill in the leadoff round can really make you feel...
You're like, I could do this.
Yeah, it's like, oh, the enemies are human, just like me.
Yeah.
I'm surrounded by humans. We're all, you know, I've got what it takes. I've practiced enough.
Well, in this case, they're fighting cyborgs, but close enough.
Okay, that's, you know, fair, true. The enemies aren't human, but I can kill cyborgs.
Yeah.
That's what Next One just determined.
That's right.
So big information internally for Next One is to be able to like absorb that, okay, yeah, I can influence this. And that's going to enable him, I think, as a player to just play how he wants to play.
I think we saw that
we need
from,
to see for everyone.
We absolutely saw that from Navi as well. He had a great debut round from their sub as well. And I think, yeah, and I think it made a big difference in his performance the rest of that match, and he did pretty well.
Pi did, he came in like second frag, I think, overall for his team. He was a really, I mean, I think he was playing support roles.
Yeah, he was playing like Thatcher and things like that, yeah.
So yeah, lead off 3K there for Next One. Not only a 3K against Empire, but also in his debut round for this team. So big for him. Congratulations to him. And yes, I think that will enable him quite a lot. We'll see if he can keep that ball rolling or if it was just a fluke. But he, in his own mind, is going to be feeling confident. I am sure of that, at least.
Yeah. I think the loss of the Jackal here, definitely looking at the way the Empire played that last round, definitely hurt them because they seem to be pushing into a lot of gunfights they seem a little bit unprepared for. They've got things like Mozzie to deny some of the droning. So they're face-checking a little too often and losing the fights that they're just, the defenders are, you know, better set up to ambush for. Droning, you know, they attempt to come out. You saw right there, for example, Pest stopping him from droning, and he always enters that way. So they're bringing more roam denial, but they're not necessarily bringing anything that's going to help them actually see the players. They're just going to lock it down more by bringing that gridlock. So I don't know that that's going to make a huge difference for this round if Chaos play the way they played last round. Just a bit of aggression, but also better anticipating where Empire are coming from than Empire doing the opposite on them.
Joystick entry into Aqua. He's got control now, and he can start isolating this position. Now, because it's the Nomad coming into Aqua, what he can do solo is he can actually deny a roam on the top floor outright. Because the isolating... Oh, a free kill for Joystick as Renewals attempts to rotate thanks to Shepard opening the window. That's great coordination for Empire. Not a free kill. I don't even know why I said that. That is just work put in. Shepard's also going to take down Next One, and as Scyther gets a third, Empire are looking unstoppable. Chaos trying to recover. Will be pushing one into Aqua. No air jab set up, so Joystick dies quite easily. And secretly gets a double kill from his position in Aqua. And he's looking for more. He's hungry. Suddenly, it's looking like we could actually see Chaos come back in this round.
it's weird. They've got all this potential to stop the roam, but they get a retake on them from the Maestro just coming around the corner because they didn't set up those air jabs. They didn't set up the gridlock tracks.
So what I was gonna say is that the Nomad, since going into Aqua, you can just deny outright from Aqua. You don't even need to leave the room. You could deny the roam on the top floor while your teammates push into Master, but it didn't happen. Karzeka, a nice shot there onto Red Groove as we transition into the site take. There's a whole minute left in this round for Empire to make it happen, and secretly is now the only one alive, meaning he will have to ace in order to win this round, or at least win it on time, if nothing else. Spray coming into the smoke. Not able to land any shots. Shepard will be planting, but the rotation denial from Karzeka is the victor for Empire.
Secretly, definitely the only one really able to do much pushback that round, but that definitely could have tumbled pretty far for Empire off that loss if he was able to keep pushing that top floor the way he was. But then just losing too many teammates, forcing him back to site to try and anchor it. It's a tough spot to be in. A little bit sloppy by Empire, but they were definitely much more on their pushes that time, catching a lot of people on the rotates. You saw that Jaeger kill you pointed out at the beginning, where they forced him to rotate. They were able to actually push a lot of the players into crossfires and things like that they weren't doing the first round. A lot of them just kind of playing these individual 1v1s and losing them. It seemed like the coordination was there a bit better this round from Empire. Not necessarily just gunfight winning, but just better playing together. And that's the thing that's a little bit harder to warm up. Because a lot of times, you can go into a T-hunt to warm up your aim and things like that, but that doesn't warm up your coordination as a team. You got to kind of get into the groove of each other, kind of get in sync. Seems like Chaos had that more the first round and definitely could bring that back here. But Empire look like they're a lot more on point, and they're going to go with that same lineup for that reason.
Now, I got to say, I mean, that could have been a much more one-sided round for Empire, for sure. If not for the denial, or rather the flank over by Aqua. I just expected the air jabs to go up before we saw Joystick try and pinch the guy at the top of main stairs.
So focused on fragging sometimes, just because that's what he's really good at.
I don't know if it's that. I think he knows what it must have been. Maybe it just wasn't like something that was part of the plan. I'm just kind of surprised by that.
Or just
like,
lower priority.
When I see, because my immediate thought is when I see a Nomad coming into Aqua by himself on Kitchen.
You're like, this is done.
Okay, he's tying up the roam upstairs. Like that's obviously, but he just didn't do that. He did manage to get the, he did manage to get the kill. That's, I guess, all that really matters. Anyway, moving on. Empire, keep it at 1-1, so no breakaway here for either team. Empire just trying to keep themselves in a good reach of control. I don't have it yet. Top floor control this round is the priority, yet again, for Empire, which is typical in Kitchen. Again, Aqua looks like it's about free for Empire, joystick specifically, and he will get the air jabs up ahead of time. But he enters in without checking the angle again, and secretly will take down Joystick.
That's the second time now, and that's going to, again, hurt their roam control. You're talking about the ability to control a lot of top floor. That's what they need to do this round.
The confusing thing about that is that nobody was droning for him, so he didn't even ADS to check the angle, which is weird. It's really weird. So with Joystick gone now, advantage to Chaos, and they're going to be just trying to wait this one out based on that, probably.
You hear at least the tracks going up, if nothing else.
Karzeka knows there's somebody on the other side of this wall. Whips out the nade. Bulletproof camera might call this. It is onto a Doc who's overhealed. No, he actually just goes for the bulletproof camera, trying to deny info, and he will, but Vito will land the shot with his P90 of all weapons.
That's a surprise.
Gridlock throwing in the tracks here. Scyther trying to push off of it. They make a lot of noise so they can cover your approach. Scyther does not get the kill, but will dish out some damage before being finished off by Renewals. And Vito also gets one, leaving just Shepard. Scyther gets a tracks kill onto Renewals.
Oh boy.
Which is hilarious with a Doc standing next to him. And Vito is also on low HP, so maybe he's used all of his Doc abilities, his stims. Yes, indeed he has. He's retreated back to site. Shepard, actually, this is somewhat winnable considering how low Vito is and considering he can't heal himself up. It's also 40 seconds to go.
Oh, unfortunately, the smokes are still in play here, and that's probably just the first of the 3. Yep, 2 left to deny that. So they just have to anticipate his approach and adjust each time. There's not a whole lot he can do to push against it other than just catching 1 or 2 players just not paying enough attention.
He'll be going for exit. As he comes in to the Sunrise bar, he's got to be wary of all the angles, so he'll check them. Probably doesn't know there's somebody in the hallway to his right. It's an unlikely angle to check, and he'll go for the default camera, which is typical. Secretly will use that to his advantage, and Chaos win the round. And they put themselves up 2-1.
Definitely a lot of small mistakes here really being capitalized on by Chaos. Like you said, for example, Joystick not paying enough attention to his angle. The way they were trying to fight Theater, just costing them body after body. Now, I mean, I appreciate the throwing the tracks in there to kind of like cause a problem for them, but that's like, they're just going to shoot most of them.
Well, I think maybe the intention was to cover the sound of the
yeah,
approach.
So, I mean, I think that worked to an extent, but he didn't win the gunfight off of it. It is ironic, though, he did manage to get a kill off of the tracks either way, but...
Yeah, that is kind of funny. But, yeah, no, the big thing that really strikes me is why that Joystick did not check the angle from hookah. I'm pretty sure it was either a punch hole or a bullet hole in the hookah wall, and he didn't... It's not that he didn't see it. It just, from what we could tell, he didn't check for it.
He didn't look prepared.
He didn't come around the corner ADS expecting anyone to be there. But nobody had droned it out, it looked like, and nobody was taking it for sure on the Empire side.
Yeah.
So that was working with limited information that ended up, well, resulting in Joystick's death.
And that was a lot more like the first round, where they were just pushing into a lot of gunfights and then just not winning them.
Well, it's going to be hookah. Billiards once again. This is the second time here. Chaos managed to win this last time based on their roam. Roam was down by Kitchen. Empire tried to clear in from the east side on the bottom floor, and they were met with stiff resistance. Then when in a position to refrag, Empire just couldn't. All of the roamers went back to site, and in the dying minute of the round, they managed to hold out to the end.
Well, this is definitely not good for Empire, of course, because they still, they need to manage to get a lead, try and take it, and they can't afford to get 1 point. They need all three. And with Chaos playing the way they are, this is definitely going to be tricky for them, because Chaos, the points don't necessarily make that much of a difference if they can't even get out of the relegation spot, but they certainly matter a lot to Empire.
Yeah, today is really big, of course, because of this match, but also because of the G2 Na'Vi match, where the other two teams that are in the running right now for the second place in Europe and that land position. If Empire can't get 3 points, like you said, it is going to really hurt their chances. But who knows? Maybe G2 and Na'Vi draw. We won't, of course, have solid information on that until we get to the match, of course. Now, Empire just trying to clear out the roamers downstairs, but they're doing it slightly differently than they had in the past. This time, you see Karzeka in office really tearing a hole in that wall and trying to apply pressure to the blue bar and sunrise bar roamers. He's doing a good job of that so far, but he's going to eat a little bit of damage from above. Nice angle being played there by the anchors, trying to support their roamers, and from pink, Renewals will finish off Karzeka, and another one for Renewals. That's beautiful gunplay. He'll get a third! Oh, what skill! He goes for the run out, and he's going to try and make his way to exit. Scyther takes down Secretly, meanwhile. He actually goes all the way up to the hookah balcony. Scyther's trying to punish, but he's unsuccessful, and Renewals went on a marathon, got 3 kills, and back into sight successfully.
They're definitely just looking a little bit flustered at the moment. Not really sure how to fight this against 4 with someone getting away with so much punishment and then not even dying out of it. Just spraying the floor desperately. Joystick trying to find some kind of position here where he can catch someone off guard. He has some idea someone's playing over there, and he's rotating, trying to catch him from behind. But you cannot pinch 4 players with 2. They're really going to have to catch next one off guard, and he looks absolutely prepared for this.
Oh, expecting someone in luggage, and the C4 is just a fake out, but next one whiffs really hard, and Joystick will punish him. An experience really working in his advantage in the engagement. Meanwhile, Scyther trying to come in from the balcony. He's going to have to enter into a crossfire because Renewals was not punished for his run out. He can now sit in hookah. No, it's not even going to come to that. It is Vito peeks wide. He'll get the kill. Joystick, the last one alive, gets another. And Goody cannot get a third. Chaos will win the round based on Renewal's excellent gunplay downstairs and the Anchor's ability to simply hold out in the end.
Well, it's hard to say how much the roster change made a difference here, but so far it's looking really good for Chaos. I mean, to be fair, though, before the roster change, as I said, the record was very good on this map, and this is definitely tricky for Empire. I mean, generally, you wouldn't want to take Empire to this map, but it's seeming like Chaos, at least mentality-wise, playing a bit better than Empire. We're just seeing them really struggle in a lot of these engagements, they're not really seeming like they get a lot of map control, and when they do, they're not seeming to hold it very well. And again, bringing so many roam control operators, you'd think they'd be doing a better job of that. The line going to be brought instead. Maybe a better choice than the gridlock, honestly, to be able to try and control those roamers, just because, well, you can only lock down, certain areas with the gridlock, but whereas line will lock down movement in general for that brief period of time, but it's going to be hard if you can't do anything with that.
Double bar now for Chaos, and they have seemed on point in this defensive half of Coastline. The roam clear from Empire, very lackluster. They usually get punished on it, lose some players early on. Then they try to make a valiant effort at a recovery by hitting the site directly with their limited amount of players on the attacking side. And almost every single time it has not worked.
Yeah, they're just, they take a lot of these peaks and then just lose them. I don't know if they need to be playing a bit better as a group, meaning like they need to push even just one player with at least two.
That would be my assessment straight up.
At least trade. If they were just trading every time, I think they'd be in a better position, because we're not seeing these even man counts at the end of rounds. We're seeing dominating sides.
Yeah, Chaos are definitely the ones in control right now. We are seeing, it's not unlike Empire to have solo clears or anything like that, but what is unlike Empire is for them to do that and then lose the fights, right?
Yeah.
So that's when it becomes like a moment to critique, right? When it ceases to, you've got your solo clear and you're just hitting your shots. Insane. Amazing.
That was usually
Empire, right. But right now, they're not doing that. And it's not just about them not hitting their shots either. Sometimes Empire are making plays based off either limited or a lack of information, and it is seriously costing them.
Yeah.
So many of these rounds. Like when the Buck last round tried to come in from blue bar, but he didn't know there were holes open above him, and he started getting punished, looking around like he didn't know where the bullets were even coming from, and then he got killed from pink because he was distracted. That's just limited information gathering on the side of Empire. So something's going on.
Working out, I think, for sure.
That's true. Mozzie has got to be playing a factor there. Next one doing a good job with his pest placement, I suppose. Now, see Empire trying to take control of Hookah so they can open up above the double bar. They need to figure out what they're dealing with here. No one's droning out these players, so they don't know exactly where they are. They cleared the ADS, the nade comes in. The Lion charge is a little delayed there, but that's just a nitpick. What really matters is the nade didn't land because there wasn't information on where the Jaeger is. He could have just shot him this whole time, and he will eventually, but 2 nades wasted. Although, Chaos are in a 3 versus 5, so I guess in the end, it's worth it. Make that a 3 versus 4 as Red Groove makes an aggressive play onto Joystick. Fido also eliminates Shepard through the wall, and now Chaos have evened it out. Karzeka, though, working to mitigate the problem as he eliminates Red Groove upstairs. And as Fido is on low HP, this is actually looking very winnable for Empire, though not as dominant as it had looked in the beginning of the round.
Well, definitely. You said the 2 grenades wasted, but that was a grenade operator they didn't have last round, now that they're bringing the Sledge instead of the Ash, and they at least still have one left in Buck's pocket. But yeah, it's definitely gone a bit more Empire's favor this time, especially with Karzeka only taking a little bit of damage and Vito so much lower. But they've got to find them down here. This is where, though, they can't all focus on the top floor. Dan needs to put pressure downstairs here as well. They need that intel, like you're talking about. They're just pushing too blindly too often. Thankfully, they have time to drone a little bit at least.
Most of this round is going to come down to where Vito puts his gas canisters, if he has any, and how on point Secretly is right this minute. Here come the shots from the Alda, and some do land, but not enough to get the kill. There you go. Scyther goes down in the doorway. Limited ammunition now. You're getting to the end of your stick, but you've managed to get 2 with the first magazine. Vito is going to not get the third. It'll be Secretly from the blue bar, landing his shots in the pivotal position that he was. And Chaos will take 4 rounds out of this first half in the minimal.
And that is why people think maybe the Alda, in its current state, might not be the most balanced gun.
Oh, the Alda?
Yeah, that was, 80 bullets, ACOG, not that much recoil, really. There's just not a lot you could do. He could have just tore up practically that entire wall.
He did get low on his magazine. Like he was getting close to 0.
What were they going to do, though? He just ducks behind the bar and reloads.
Yeah, I said limited ammunition, and I feel like maybe that's easy to misinterpret. What I meant is he was almost out, but he managed to make it get 2 kills with that 80 bullets. It is kind of ridiculous a little bit.
It just, when you got someone at a choke point like that and soft walls to go with it, there's not a lot you could do. You have to start whiffing. to lose those fights right there, because he can just keep
He
strong.
did miss a lot of shots.
So yeah, to be fair, and you have plenty of bullets to work with. But I'm not saying it's like click and win. But
what I think we should do is not take away from Secretly's ability to get those.
Of course
kills.
not. He's top fragger for a reason, right?
Yeah, he's been really showing up in this match right now for Chaos, and he anchored that from the blue bar to perfection. He knew exactly what angles he needed to cover, and the fact that Office wasn't being pressured was really big. And the reason Office wasn't being pressured was because Empire didn't have enough manpower.
No, they had to have one guy at least upstairs and then 2 for the push.
And they pushed 2 in from exit, 1 down the blue stairs, but he came late because he was, like you said, trying to pressure vertically. And yeah, they just didn't pay enough heed to blue stairs. Those open angles worked for Chaos, and Secretly landed his shots. That's the end of that story right there. Now, moving on. Secretly find themselves in a really great spot. If they end this in 5-1, and honestly, based on what I've been seeing here, I would not be shocked.
Yeah, it's definitely looking like they could be denying Japan to Empire.
If they end this in 5-1, then Empire are going to really struggle moving forward in the season. And you can bet that Na'Vi and G2 both are watching this right now, just licking their lips going, oh yes, please. Please don't even draw it, because it is looking like that's what's going to happen. Empire are struggling here. It could change when we go on to the defensive half for Empire. Anything's possible.
I feel like it will.
You think so?
I don't think it'll be a drastic change, but I think they will play better on defense, because I think their coordination can be a lot better when
Streamlined?
Yeah, just in the case of seeing the way they're playing their attack and a lot of their mistakes they're making, I don't think they make those same mistakes on defense.
Right. Now, Chaos have 2 roamers in Projector, and they are being pinched right now. From the main stairs, there's 1 player on 90 to support them. It's the next one, the newest player on this roster. He is going to be a really important player in this round, as he is going to have to deny the push from luggage and main stairs, as well as the hallway. Nade comes in, though, and he's forced to peek into Dan, who finishes him off, meaning that Vito and somebody else who's also on the run with him are now cornered. Though it will be Scyther to pick up the kills, it was a team effort from Empire to make that happen, and that does look like a 4-2, if I've ever seen one. But we've seen clutches from the Smoke and the Meister before, not one round prior.
I mean, Red Groove has not really, I don't think, found any kills, but Secretly's more than made up for it with his 8 so far. So between the 2 of them, if Red Groove at least just denies and gives Secretly the chance to get some angles set up, it's clutchable. But it's definitely looking rough. And I mean, they're slowly changing up what they're bringing on attack to the point where now it's the Sledge and the Buck and the Ash, because of Scyther taking that up. So they're really looking for some aggression.
Dan misses his shots there, but he does force the Smoke to move. At least there's that. Secretly is in a less heavy clutch position. The main lobby controls a lot, but I don't think it's ideal for his situation. At least not right now, especially because he's being pressured from the main door. He will win the fight against the Sledge. Dan goes down and almost gets the second, but enough damage done by Dan to allow Scyther that 3rd kill. Red Groove trying to flank into the hallway, and he is, again, not in a great situation for a clutch scenario. You see, it is Scyther setting up on the push, and he will lose that fight. Almost a double piece for Red Groove. He came close. Low HP on Shepard. He hears one above. Shotgun can't do the work, though. He's missing the shots that are oh so necessary, and he cannot land just 1 more bullet onto Shepard. Empire will take a 2nd round in the first half.
Red Groove, unfortunately, the Groove part of his name not really working out, because he is just... He's off today, it seems, and it definitely was not the best round for him to try and clutch. But nonetheless, Secretly's been putting in work even in that situation there. Had Secretly not died, I do think it was a lot more doable for sure with 2 people.
To be fair to Red Groove, and I will be straight honest, I think if he had a weapon, like any typical SMG, he would have won that.
Yeah.
Because he did land the headshot really precisely onto Scyther to start.
Shotgun struggles.
Right, and then he ran out of his SMG-11 trying to shoot the 2nd player. But he would have killed both had he anything that had 30 bullets on the defensive side, I imagine. FMG9, MPX even, you know, like, whatever. So, unlucky him, wrong kit, but you got to use the kit that you've got in your hands, and he couldn't make those shotgun blasts work for him. Nope. Now, Empire, great job for them to recover a round at the end there, but recover is the key word, as it's a 4-2 heavy favor Chaos.
Yeah, and of course Chaos are going to go with pretty much the same lineup for the most part that we saw from Empire, bringing both those rope denial operators of the Nomad and the Gridlock. Gets the Gridlock. There's only 2 sets of stairs. You lock both of them down, and you have an extra set of tracks. And then the Nomad as well can lock down all those rotates that you were talking about, the ability to control a lot of that top floor. And of course, the top floor is where the bomb site will be. But they're going to want to take a little bit of the below as well, most likely, especially with the Buck in play and the Zofia. to try and hit them a little bit and get them out of positions if they can. But Aqua is where a lot of the battle generally comes down to, although we have seen a lot more teams starting to actually put pressure on Hookah now, whether that be from the doorway or the window. Purple Tarp's not really a thing in that anymore, but Repels we saw, for example, coming out from the sledge before of Dan. So a lot that can happen here in terms of how this attack goes down. But Empire, are known for their predictable attacks. Their defenses is where they can start to get a little bit unpredictable, especially Joystick. But I feel like he's been shut down a lot lately. If we could see the Joystick of old being able to kind of run around and do his thing just uncontested, this could go much better for them. But they're not bringing in the Mozzie, and that's what I question here, because that did seem to work fairly well. I mean, obviously, we don't have a way to verify that, but it seemed like it was impacting a bit of the performance from Empire's attacks.
Yeah, in the case of Joystick specifically, I always like to say there's something internal going on there when you see something like that. Something with him, something with a friend or something. We can't know.
Software upgrade.
Yeah, software upgrade. Exactly. They're updating his software, and he's just in the process. But we don't know. We can only speculate. So honestly, it's not worth talking about. See, Dan eliminated early on here. That is worth talking about, as Empire find themselves a man down early on, and that does not bode well for their chances. But Scyther has managed to avoid the roam clear. Secretly has no idea. And if he doesn't drone this, he never will. Looks like he's going to push it. Free kill for Scyther. Takes him a while, but he gets it. Next one will get the refrag, though, so it's definitely not Chaos letting that slip away, and as Renewals adds to it as he eliminates Joystick, it's actually looking really good for Chaos, despite a little bit of a skip in the information game.
At least it was immediately traded. I mean,
yeah, it's big.
That's definitely important. Good on next one for catching that, and good playing as a team in general for Chaos. I mean, there's a smoke left to deny some time, but a minute 20 left for Chaos to push this.
Remember when you said that Empire can be a little bit less predictable in their defenses? Mm-hmm. That might be why Chaos have decided to bring a Gridlock and a Nomad, because that is going to shut down your maneuverability considerably.
Well, at this point, with as much map control as Chaos have, I think that's likely to be the case.
Yeah. So, it's Karzeka and Shepard, the 2 versus 4. We've got a minute left to go. So there's plenty of the time for the attackers to use their utility to try and pick off one of these defenders and deny any crossfires outright, which will allow them to just mob the last player. Everything's looking good for them right now, and the nade will land on Karzeka, who goes for an aggressive push onto the blue stairs, trying to bring his team back to an even man count, if possible. Shots missing from Shepard. He's droned out. A nearly unwinnable situation. He hears shots rattling away even behind him, so he has to get kills on the front or deny the plant. Actually, correction, no, they're all in front of him, every single player, and the firing line works out for Chaos, which means they are now at 5-2.
Well, they're 1 point away from making it very, very difficult for Empire to get to Japan at this point.
Yeah, so okay, here's what's happening right now, based on what we're seeing in the grand scheme. Right this second, Chaos are ecstatic because they are just inches away from taking down Empire of all teams and giving themselves 3 points. Now, if they get 3 points, then Chaos will jump over Penta and put themselves in 6th, which is away from the relegation spots, putting more pressure on Penta. On the other hand, Empire, their chances of Japan dwindle because we do have that Na'Vi versus G2 match later today, and that is going to determine who takes second spot in almost all scenarios. So it is right now a really bad situation for Empire given the scoreline. Their backs are starting to get pushed up against a wall, and if they don't mount a recovery and quick, then it'll be rough for them moving forward. I mean,
you know what?
Their next matches are, let's see, they'll be playing Na'Vi, and then finally, their last match of the season, Empire versus Giants.
Yeah, and that's a big one, of course. But I think the mistake for Empire here was actually taking Chaos to Coastline, because they had a choice between Coastline and Cafe. You look at the records, should have gone to Cafe.
No, I still hold that, honestly. I still hold that Empire is a Coastline.
And that's the thing.
Like, they're good here.
It's not that Empire are good on this map. It's that Chaos also are.
They're both good.
A better record. And whereas Chaos's record on Cafe, not as great.
I do agree that it is weird that Empire had the choice because they were the final band.
Yeah.
They had the choice between Cafe and Coastline, and they opted for Coastline. I get that it is their a preferred map for them, but if you're looking at the stats, like Devin is here, then yeah, it kind of does make sense to go to Cafe. Maybe they expected it to be a trap, whatever it is.
I guess.
I mean, again, both teams are good here, so I think part of it is also the fact that we're not seeing. I don't know if I'm really seeing the Empire. That is like, remember the ones that they won on Coastline, and it was the explosive. They were just running around, just dumpstering people.
This second half in general, though, I feel like we've seen a lot of this Empire as opposed to that Empire.
Yeah, we have. I mean, there's, again, I always like to say, there's something going on there that we don't know about. So whatever it is,
it's making Chaos happy.
Yeah, well, Chaos are the ones who are... They're also playing well. Let's not forget, we're missing a lot of analysis on Empire, and that's fair because they are definitely an important... Oh, next one, a little skittish there. They're definitely a really relevant team, but Chaos are the ones who are winning right now, and they're doing a good job of it. Next one knows that he's cutting off a lot of rotation here, and he also knows that there's somebody playing by the Sofa who will be eliminated. Great lifeline placement there. No refrag from Empire just yet. There was a player by Blue Stairs, and oh, next one, are you going to check this? He's checking because of the tracers. The pre-fire misses, and the Valkyrie falls back. Valkyrie avoiding all damage, doing one shot of bullet, or damage, sorry, to next one. So a slight win there for Dan.
So far, looking very good again for Chaos. They may not have eliminated too many players yet, but Joystick also low in health. Next one also taking a bit of damage along with Renewals, but I feel like Chaos looking pretty dominant, especially with a minute left and being able to gain this much map control. But losing that fight is going to hurt because Joystick on low health still running rampant.
See, that's the Joystick that we're used to seeing on Coastline. He just peeks something and wins the fight straight up. He didn't have information on where that player was.
He just anticipates.
Yeah, he just was like, you know what? There's going to be somebody on this doorway. Maybe I can hear him. Or maybe he could hear him. But whatever it was, he just won the fight, landed the headshot. And that's the Joystick that on Coastline makes people really scared. But he is also going to be very exposed to Red Groove. So
he'll be trapped, to be fair. He had low health, and running through the tracks might have been enough to kill him.
Yeah, no, the tracks would have killed him. He couldn't spray his way out of the tracks, would have given away his position. So that's just good coordination on Chaos.
Yeah.
Again, to put an emphasis on their efforts here. Now, maintaining the man advantage is big, but you know what's also really important? Time. There's only 20 seconds left for Chaos to execute onto the site. They also haven't taken control of Aqua, where Karzeka is, and will take down secretly. There's the refrag, but wow, a bounce back from Shepard, this time off the C4. Red Groove, a nice hipfire transition there, and it's a 1 versus 1. But oh, Sophia's down and needs to be picked up. She's trying to do it herself, but it won't work. Dan and Empire persist. They put themselves at 5-3, just barely keeping alive in this match.
Really seemed like time, unfortunately, what kind of cost them. Forced them to push deeper into Billiards than they were prepared for. They didn't have any kind of coverage or anything like that. It was just off hoping to win gunfights. Of course, trying to reload in the middle of a gunfight, in the middle of Billiards, probably wasn't the play. That really kind of cost them the fight as you try to whip around, but was still mid-reload. You can cancel reload, but there is a slight delay in doing so. It takes a second to ADS down, and there wasn't much he could do anyways. It's not like he was going to hipfire his way out of that, but good fight back by Empire. That came very close. And some of that was off the back of Joystick really costing them a lot of time, forcing them to hunt him down. Yes, he did eventually die, but he didn't give himself away early. He forced them to kind of use a lot of utility and pinch him. So it did help a bit, but also Karzeka's playing very aggressive, and then the C4 kill, just continuing like trading and denying. That was the trading I was talking about we weren't seeing from Empire earlier on, finally paying off for them. So he's picking up a couple more.
Empire's still in it. But it is looking good for Chaos right now. As much as they did lose that last round, it was a darn close one.
Yeah.
And the reason that we saw Chaos lose that last round, I would really point a finger at Joystick. Not only did he manage to get that kill on the office doorway, but he delayed for solid 30 to 40 seconds by himself.
They didn't want to risk peeking him again because he can win those fights. You can't just, I know where he's at, I'll just go pre-fire it.
So they had to transition Red Groove from whatever he was doing, probably on the big window rappel, on the west window rappel, and they had to move him over, or on hookah balcony, whichever. They had to move him to take out Joystick from behind, and yeah, that worked. They got the kill, but it took so much time.
Finally, the Mozzie coming out here from Empire. Look at Renewals just struggling, jumping his drone to try and see something. No one's bringing a Thatcher or anything that's going to clear those out easily. They got to kind of try and, either come around to angles where they could shoot them or just not drone from that side.
Yeah, they're not bringing a Thatcher because they're sticking to the Nomad Gridlock combo, and they're also not bringing a Hard Breacher. They haven't been bringing a Hard Breacher either. So right now, Chaos are placing a heavy emphasis on just winning gunfights, which, fair enough to them. On Coastline, that can make a lot of sense, and against Empire, no less. Nice entry there from Vido. you know that it's weird every time you see somebody roaming by Sunrise Bar and there's no roam by Blue.
Yeah.
Or on by Office even. Well, lots of kills happening while we talk about that, and it's going to be an even exchange in the second engagement, but Chaos managed to keep it a man up because they got a free kill early on by Fido onto Shepard. So a little bit of HP lost on Red Groove though, so that's worth noting. Ooh, long angle fight there, and Dan wins it. That had to have been a really impressive shot. We didn't see it from his angle, of course, but still, that is the type of shot that is going to win you rounds and thus matches.
Yeah, definitely. At least even now, but Red Groove, as you said, low on health, makes this a little bit more difficult in terms of trying to push all together and hoping not to get traded out. Especially, so, of course, if he doesn't have all his air jabs set up, that could cost him. We saw that struggle with Joystick, getting all those set up before dying. He does have one left in his pockets, though. 2 grenades as well for Vito to try and help with this, but he just wins the gunfight outright. That's the second one for him this round against Dan. This is looking still pretty good for Chaos, and there we go. Especially now, Karzeka going to have to try and clutch this on the Elo that I mentioned not getting picked much in EU.
Well, hey,
here it is.
It's being played. And I guess, you know, for the first time in this match, or not in this match, but in this region.
Yeah.
So site control, total site control for Chaos now, and they've got 40 seconds, so they don't need to rush at all. They're setting up Nomad air jabs. Karzeka's going to get air jabbed, I believe, and tracked.
Oh, no.
Oh, this is rough. He's spotted too. Okay, basically unwinnable here for Karzeka. He's tracked on the front door as well, and spotted. He just can't get back into the building. And Vito will get his 3rd kill. Chaos will get their 6th round, and Empire have been denied 3 points.
Wow.
And thus G2 and Na'Vi, who play at the end of the day today, are very, very happy.
Well, good on point for Gridlock. So you don't always get to see a huge impact from those tracks because you don't get to see necessarily people trying to rotate those positions. But both of those absolutely well placed, denying the re-entry, even struggling to run around outside to do something from there. It was a smart play jumping outside, but without any intel, did not know that those tracks were there, and just this is looking pretty dire for Empire to come back from this. I still don't even necessarily see them getting the tie the way they're playing so far.
Even if Empire gets a tie here,
yeah,
the odds of that actually mattering in the immediate, like in this day,
yeah,
very low.
That's the thing is, like, they're not going to get relegated out at this point. They're not going to go to Japan if they can't really get lucky at this point.
Yeah, I think it's like a 0% chance for Empire to get relegated at this point. Like, it's just impossible. I'm not gonna say I don't think that's like a sure thing, but I would imagine it's just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
But the Japan is the question.
And that's the thing is, it's like, if that 1 point won't be enough to help propel them to Japan, at this point, the match doesn't even do anything for them.
Yeah, I mean, effectively, they've just lost. In terms of their needs, but here's the thing, is it's not a sure thing.
No.
It's not 100% right. So, okay, let's run through the scenarios here. If Empire managed to draw this, they win these next 3 rounds, then that puts them at 23 points. Now, that would immediately take them into second, but of course, with G2 and Na'Vi playing later today, that would probably be fleeting. If G2 and Na'Vi draw, which is possible, technically, Na'Vi has yet to draw this season, so there's that, and G2's only drawn once. But it's possible they could draw. If they both draw, then we get a gridlock situation where nothing really changes,
yeah,
and they're all still trying to, they're all neck and neck, right? So it is possible that Empire can recover their chances here, and I remind all of you that this is not the end of the season. This is the 3rd to last play day, not the final play day. So a trade here to begin the round, as we're discussing all of this. Scyther goes down, next one goes down, and, well, that's it.
Worthwhile trade for Empire, though. Trading a Zofia for a mute.
Oh, yeah, by far.
Yeah.
Definitely. That's the C4 gone, but your jammers are all going to be pre-placed, so whatever. Most of the utility on the mute is used, whereas none of the utility on the Zofia has been used.
Not to mention a very good gun.
Now, secretly, is going to take down Dan in the bathroom. So, again, I feel like a lot of these engagements are just Chaos gaining advantage based on information or lack thereof for Empire. Because, like, why are you peeking into the main lobby when you don't know it's clear? Why are you doing it while you're mid-reload? Big questions here for Empire, but Chaos are taking full advantage, and that's just going to get even worse as Joystick is eliminated. Now Chaos find themselves in a 4-2 lead, looking strong. feeling comfortable, and Shepard getting aggressive on exit. He's doing this because he knows he needs to get some kills to bring his team back into the round. But he's going to be the one to eat the most damage in that engagement with Vido, or not Vido, with Red Groove, as it seems.
Slow reaction time as well, you saw, and he didn't fire, and maybe that's indicative of some of the struggles they're going through.
Whatever it is, Empire are now on their last ropes for this round and this match. Shepard, low HP. He will get one. Red Groove goes down. Shepard playing by Pink, and that's it! Chaos win the match! They'll take a 7-3 over Empire and 3 points for their troubles, putting Chaos at 10 points total in the season and pushing them into 6th place over Penta, who descends.
Well, so far now, that's a really good track record here for Chaos on Coastline. They've beat G2 7-4. They beat Penta 7-1, and now beat Empire 7-3. This is a good map for them, I'd say overall. And the roster change, I don't know if it made a huge impact one way or the other because their record was already good on this map, but it certainly did not hurt them, and that's the most important thing for Chaos right now.
Well, 7-3 is definitely a great record to have against a team like Empire, that's for sure, and they got to be really happy about that one. That's also a surety. But that's not the only thing that just happened in that one match, and this is why I love when we get to the end of the season, because there's so many moving parts. But yeah, not only did Empire just lose out on 3 points, or even 1 point, Chaos also managed to push themselves into 6, which means they're out of the relegation spot, which means Penta has to fight harder now, because they're now in 7th place. And that means that G2 and Na'Vi, again, who play at the end of the day, just that match becomes infinitely more relevant.
Yeah.
If Empire had won here, then yes, it would be very important for G2 and Na'Vi, but they would still have to fight extra hard to get that win in order to take out Empire's 2nd place. Now, if either G2 or Na'Vi win today, then Empire's chances at landing become very much lower.
So they're really hoping for a draw at the end.
Yeah, they're Empire now fingers crossed that G2 and Na'Vi will draw, which is a real possibility, even though, again, Na'Vi has yet to draw this season. Anyway, big win there for Chaos. Congratulations to them, really. Truly impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, I don't think the roster change hurt them, but I think a lot of their players really stepped up secretly, especially doing a fantastic job. But then even Red Groove on the second half on attack, managing to step it up from just not maybe having a huge impact in the first half. Of course, to be fair, he was playing a bit more of an anchor role and wasn't in that position a lot, but they did a great job punishing every one of Empire's mistakes and trading almost all the time, even when they were on the back foot. And I think that just shows they were very much on top of their game today, whereas Empire definitely did not look like the Empire we had seen the first half. But it takes a good team to capitalize on that, and Chaos, very impressive play today. Very happy to see that from them.
All right, well, we've got an interview with Chaos and Secretly specifically, so we'll jump to that. How's it going, Secretly?
It's all good, man, all good. Finally got a win on the board, so finally feeling good again, dude.
Yeah, so that's your 3rd win for the season. Congratulations for it. Over a team like Empire, no less. That's got to be a pretty big one for you guys. Now, congratulations now pushing yourself into 6. Got a couple questions for you about that match. Some major standouts, for example, your attacking operator composition. So we saw, of course, no hard breacher. I'm not going to question that one because it's Coastline. That's not a huge thing. But my main question on that is you brought a Nomad and Gridlock combo, which is, lock them up kind of combo, try and make it so they can't move as much. Devin was actually talking about how Empire can be less predictable on defense. Was that something you guys were reading into, or?
To be honest, we did absolutely zero scouting before this game, so that was not something. Yes, maybe the operator bands. We had our analysts fix up the operator bands, but we focused mostly on nailing our gameplay and our game plan. Okay. So it was basically pick whatever operator you feel comfortable, the one you can shoot the most headshots with, and it worked out in the end, right? But that was pretty much our plan from the beginning. So it wasn't any specific strategies in terms of operators or whatnot. It was basically just pick what you want, win the game.
Well, with that win, of course, you take yourselves out of that relegation spot, and that's obviously got to be big for you guys. Your next 2 matches for the season are Sisu and Na'Vi. How intimidating do you think that is for your overall season? Are you feeling confident about just staying out of 7th and 8th place at this point?
It's going to be tough for sure. Penta, who is the closest team to us, they're a very good team. But I don't see Gifu getting above us right now, but I'm feeling confident, of course. But anything can happen in this game, right? And it just depends on who shows up on the day.
Absolutely correct. All right, so another question. Almost forgot about this one. New player. You got next one in there, and he's looking really good. 3K right out the gate in the first round. Do you want to fill us in on what's going on there?
Yeah, so basically we've been struggling a lot this season, right? And we've had talks over and over about what's the issue or like what do we change, and we never really got anywhere. And so this was just one of those. Screw it, let's try it. Let's see what happens. Let's bring in a new player. So he's basically right now he's a stand-in. We're trying him out, right? So there's nothing set in stone, absolutely not. But it was something we felt like we had to try because whatever we were doing, we tried everything. Hard scouting, no scouting. We tried switching players, switching roles. We tried so many things that eventually we were like, we just need something different, right? So we'll see what happens in the future. We were very impressed by his performance, of course. So
yeah. I mean,
we'll just keep going for now. So
he got a 3K in the first round.
Yeah.
Which is pretty impressive. Was that a big one? Was that a big moment for him? Was he like, oh, look at it, I did it?
I think it was a big moment for everyone because he was really nervous before this game because he's never played either Challenge League or Pro League. He has a lot of experience, right, with national leagues and whatnot, but he was feeling pressured for sure, and he was like, man, he was shaking a bit, you know? So he was so happy about doing well in his first round and in his first game.
Congratulations to him, and congratulations to you guys as a whole team. Anything you want to say to the viewers and your fans at home before we end the interview?
Thank you to all the fans for sticking through this horrendous season so far. Hopefully we can bring it back and provide you with some more wins. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, secretly.
Thank you.